Well, here we go. I was talking away there to myself because according to my internet, I was back online again, but everybody was disappearing. So obviously I wasn't. So anyway, let's hope somebody comes back very soon. Hi, Nathan. I kept cutting out, Nathan, and when I came back, I thought I was back, but nobody was talking to me. So I realised after everybody was leaving that nobody could hear me. It was weird that YouTube was telling me I was back live again, but obviously I wasn't. So I spent, I don't know, about 10 minutes talking to myself. Yeah. Oh, we're back for the moment, Sean. But hi, Nathan. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Denise. Who knows what will happen next? Hi, Jean. Second time. Fingers crossed. Oh, yeah, it's on Enid. Oh, I was talking to myself for 10 minutes because I came back, so I thought. But when I realised everybody was leaving, I thought, no, I can't be on. I'm talking to myself. I was having a really good conversation with myself, yeah, which is, part of the course, really. I talk to myself an awful lot, yeah. Yeah, as I was saying for the third time, this 100 grams went such a long way. It went all the way up there. Look, before I had to join another ball on. I was worried. It froze on 100 gram. Yeah, I was worried I wouldn't have enough because I just yanked some yarn out of the shed. Decided to knit a cardigan. And I never look, what the pattern says, how many balls it says. I'm just like, you know, living dangerously, let's just say. Can I have some thumbs up, people? I've only got 3 so far. Everybody's probably left me and wondered where the heck I've gone. You should be used to me by now. It's this stupid internet. My telly kept going off as well, the internet on my telly. So it's obviously an internet problem, yeah. Oh dear. Oh dear, dear. Let's hope you're all right now, Denise. Yeah. I'm sure you'll, it's like riding a bike, Denise. You'll remember how to crochet when you get it all out and start all over again. I don't think we ever quite forget how to do things. We might need reminding. Hi, Chris. My second time, Chris. I keep cutting off. I thought I'd come back, but I was talking to myself, So, yeah, right, okay. I snapped one of my long fingernails off. I don't know when it happened. I just realised it was missing. It was like that one. My mate kept saying, will you cut them nails? Will you cut those nails off? I didn't need to, it fell off. Hi, Connie, again, was it? I'm sorry I keep disappearing. It's not my problem. Yeah, I think I need a drink as well. I think I needed a strong drink, but I've not got one. Need an alcoholic one. But hey ho, we shall push on without, regardless. I'll open a can instead. If I had an alcoholic one, you might not see me at all. Oh dear, dear. That's not good news. I lost my brother to a heart attack. It was 9 years ago the other day. I lost my brother and my dog on the same day. So it's traumatic. My brother was ill. Well, that hand does. That hand looks okay. The other hand I've broken 2. I brought that one in the middle. I'm sorry for doing that. That's rude, isn't it? And then I brought that one today. Shouldn't stick the middle finger up. That looks really rude. I bet they made that my thumbnail or something like that. They did that to me once before. I was counting on my fingers, doing the 1, 2, 3. And guess which one they picked for the thumbnail? I think it was Nathan that told me. Oh dear. You'll find it when you sit on it, Enid. You'll find it then. Yeah, you're having a time of it, Denise. Let's hope it's all over now. And that everything's fine. Yeah, I mean, my brother was ill, but I wasn't expecting him. Well, we weren't expecting him to go that quickly. He had cancer, my brother, but he was given, 2 or 3 years. But then he just had a heart attack, which took us all by surprise, really. We were not expecting that. That's the problem. It's a good job we don't know what life has in store for us. That's why I never want to see one of these. Well, I don't actually think I believe in them, but I don't think I would like to want to see one of these clairvoyants or anything like that. He was only 49. Oh dear. No, my brother was, gosh, let me think. He was 70 something, yeah. Hey, June. Oh, I haven't been doing much, June. I haven't been making me. I haven't updated my Urban Gypsy page for blooming months, yeah. I just haven't been in the mood, June, at all, when you have times when you go off things. I have been doing some knitting and I have been doing some crochet. I've just not been in the mood for putting things. I put things on Instagram sometimes when I've finished something. But I've not been in the mood for, writing down. Some people write everything they have, don't they? I've had porridge for my breakfast. Some people write something down all the time. But I've got to be in the mood for actually writing anything. And I haven't been in the mood for a while, really, not even to do my videos. I just haven't. I mean, I've told you I'm having camera issues. I'm having internet issues. I mean, that's not the 100% the reason. But I have to sit here and hold, the camera to recharge it. I have to sit physically holding. It's not the recharge lead. It's the bit inside the camera that's loose, yeah. Oh, thank you, June. I just, when you just don't feel interesting enough to do videos all the time, and I just thought I'm going to have a break, If I have a break, then maybe when I come back, I'll be more refreshed, have things to talk about and things to chat about and stuff like that. You know how you feel. I don't know whether you all go through slumps. I suppose you all do, don't you? But I just went into a bit of a internet slump where I just felt like I was boring. I felt like I had nothing to say. My camera wasn't working. Oh, excuse me. My internet wasn't working. So I just got out of the habit of doing it. I'm watching everybody else's, but I'm waiting for the ones that's going to do Vlogmas because I think nobody's doing the November one. But I'm missing like Stitch by Mrs. D. She's not done one for 2 or 3 weeks now. Yeah, I think we all need a break sometimes because you can have a burnout, can't you? You just do so much sometimes. I think you just overface yourself or you have a burnout completely. I mean, I've done it before with my crafting. And I think the best thing to do when you're not in the mood is don't do it. Because if you're doing things and you're not in the mood, A, they don't turn out right, and B, your heart's not in it, is it? Yeah. They're doing a knit along, a Christmas stocking. I mean, I watched Crafty Clegg, she called Jeanette. She'd started doing that gingerbread blanket thing, and she just said, I've stopped doing it. She said, I'm just not feeling it. And I can understand it. She said she just isn't getting the vibe from it at all. Oh, yeah, Little Drops are wonderful. Yeah, she went to the Lay Family Yarn retreat, didn't she? Oh, I'd love to go on a retreat, but I've never had the money. I never will. Unless I win the lottery, of course. I'll keep your fingers crossed. I didn't win the Euro Millions yesterday. I did have a ticket. For once, I decided I would splash on a ticket last night. Only one ticket. But I didn't win, of course. Yeah. You know, I didn't like it either, Lisa. Lisa lies. Oh, God, here we go again. I didn't like that gingerbread blanket. Couldn't understand why everybody was raving over it. It wasn't I mean, you know me and blankets anyway, but it wasn't my cup of tea if I'd have been into blankets. And let's face it, it was too Christmassy, wasn't it? You'd have to put it away for like 9/10 of the year, wouldn't you? So I couldn't understand why everybody was raving over it and wanting to make it. And when I discovered it was done in strips and bits and you had to. Yeah, I've done a few of the hexagon cardigans, June, yeah. I always have to stop though, because I don't like wide sleeves. So I always have to stop and then crochet a bit on the sleeves and crochet a bit on the, yeah. It's actually black and red if you can see the reddy bits. Yeah, can you see the sparkly bits? Yeah. Getting a bit ready for Christmas. No, I'm not really. Got my buff day first before Christmas. Who's sending me messages? Let's have a look. Cactus Lady. No, I don't want to watch her. All things Asia. No, she just wants to sell me something. You're on your second one, yeah? Oh, for the teddy. Yeah, I've been watching, like I said, the Crafty Clegs. She's been making little mice for it. She's got these little houses, like Christmas type houses, and she's making little mice about that big to go in them. And a Father Christmas and a Mother Christmas that are only that big. I haven't got the patience or the skills for little things like that. Give me a little hook and I can't hold it. My fingers don't grip. Especially now with this hand, it's killing me. But I'm pushing through because I want to knit. I cannot do with sitting doing nothing. I know Jeanette, she makes little teeny little things. That Knit 365, he's always doing those tuft things, isn't he? Yeah. Hi, Gloria. What's he called? I've forgotten his first name now. It'll come to me in a minute. It's called Knit 365. Oh, it'll come to me. He always goes to these tuft things. I think he's well in with them. Martin, that's the one. Martin. The necklace is like sort of, it's sequins, but it's not sequins, if you know what I mean. It's a bit of glitter to match the glitter in my cardigan shad. Yeah, Martin. Oh, if you get the actual tuft, it's like that. What's it called? Lunar lapping. If you get the actual kit for those rabbit things, they cost a bomb, don't they? I mean, I like them, but blimey. Are they still fashionable, those Taylor Swift dresses now, Denise? I thought they were like a flash in the pan, if you know what I mean. when she stopped wearing it, you know. Thank you, Shad. I've got my glitter. Getting ready for Christmas. Not really, but you know, trying to get myself in the mood. Oh, I've been listening to a bit of reggae. I think I told you all that while I wasn't on. It always cheers me up. A bit of reggae or a bit of ska. Yeah, always cheers me up. I used to love doing my housework to reggae. Yeah. Da, 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 da. It's always nice and cheerful, isn't it? That's the only thing I don't like about this wool. You get like 5 or 6 stitches of a colour. Yeah, I thought, you know, now she'd stop wearing it, Denise. I thought maybe the fashion would change, yeah. Oh, God, you've got mildew as well. Oh, my goodness me. Oh, whatever next. Bit of mildew. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, somebody asked me would I be making that Taylor Swift dress. I said no. A, I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. B, I'm too old. And C, it's a mini dress. It's been a very long time. Hi, Jill. Been a very, very long time since I bared my knees, except in the summer in the garden and a pair of shorts, yeah. Hi, Jill. Hi, everybody. Oh, I know. I know they blame me for damp, don't they? They say, oh, you've not run this, you've not run that. Who can afford to run the heating all the time? Nobody can. It's too damp in here, yeah. Oh, you're wrapping presents. What Christmas presents? Are you on the ball or what? Or is it somebody's birthday? Well, it's like everything else, isn't it? You know, we've said this before, isn't it? That fashion comes around, it has a certain cycle, doesn't it? And then it comes around again. And of course, the people who weren't alive back then think it's all, whoa, so brand new and so up to the minute. And you're like, no, your grandma was wearing that. Your granny was wearing those short skirts and the boots, yeah. Oh, you're driving to your daughter's. Dee. You've got the remembrance service, yeah. It's 9/11 as well, isn't it, too, for people in America? Yeah. I mean, we all like to put the heating on to keep our houses lovely and aired, don't we, But you know, blooming price of everything. It's not going to go down, is it, in the near future? And yet our money doesn't go up, you know. We're all stuck in a circle, aren't we? You know, we're all of us, unless you're a millionaire and it doesn't matter, you know. But most of us are on a budget. Even when you're working, you're still on a budget, aren't you? You know, you've only got a certain amount it comes in each month, haven't you? And unless you've got a millionaire's type job with multi-millionaires, yeah. Oh, your daughter's having surgery. Oh, I wish her well. Yeah. Have you thought about a humidifier, Sean, or will it not go in the cavity? Yeah. I mean, damp is something that we used to have, like when we all lived in two up, two downs, and we didn't have central heating. Uh, just a thought, that's all. Yeah. No wonder our houses were all damp and we all had really bad chests back in the 40s and the 50s. But these days, I mean, it shouldn't happen, should it? And yet it is because we can't afford things. We can't afford to run the things all day long that would stop all this. I keep watching that abandoned mansions in America. He's called Ethan Minnie, I think he's called. And it amazes me how these houses that were built in the 70s and the 80s are all decaying, got mold, the basements are flooded. And I'm like, what on earth is happening? How are they built that badly? That water's coming through the ceiling when they were built in the 70s and the 80s. I mean, who built them, We used to have a saying saying it was jerry built, and I don't know whether it meant it was German or it meant it was built very badly. We used to have a saying like, well, I remember back in the 40s and the 50s, if anything was built really badly, it was jerry built, so whatever that was. But I mean, I was looking at a lot of, yeah, Bob the Builder. I was looking at a lot of these houses in America and they look like magnificent mansions. And I'm like, why are they? He was like going round them and he can't go in the basement because it was, full of water because the sump. I mean, we've never had sumps in England, not in our buildings. We don't have to have sump pumps. What the heck do you need a sump pump for? Why do you need them? Somebody tell me why you need a sump pump. I've never lived in a house that's needed a sump pump. Do they just build them on boggy ground or what do they build them on? I'm working on a very, very bright cardigan. Very, very jazzy. Probably make me look like a humbug or a deck chair. But I just found the wool in the shed and I thought it looked rather attractive. Didn't realise it would be in such big stripes, yeah. But do I care? No. You know me, I love bright colours. Why I'm wearing black today, I don't really know. But it's got a sparkle. It's got a red sparkle. But black, as you know, it's a colour that I use as a base a lot. And I would put something like this over the top of a black dress. Yeah. Oh, is that what it is? The walls of Jericho? Yeah. Looking at some of these mansions, I think they must have been built on sand. How can they have flooded basements when they're like built in the 80s? I mean, to me, that's kind of virtually a new house, something built in the 80s. And he was talking about a house that was like built in the 30s as being like, oh, well, it's antique. It's no wonder it's kind of falling down. And I'm like, God, my other house that I left before here was built in 1937 and it was as solid as a rock. Sunshine, what's that, Sean? That yellow thing that used to be in the sky. We've had a terrible summer, haven't we? You may not have because you're further down south, but we had a terrible summer up here. I went out on Thursday, was it? Yeah, Thursday, to the cafe to meet my friends, and coming back, I was absolutely perished. It was so cold. Yeah, that's what I mean, Linda. Our houses are built to last, aren't they? But these houses were built like in kind of 1980, and they're knackered. They've got mould growing on the ceilings and water coming through, and the basements are flooded, and they're built in 1980. I'm like, who the heck built them? Hi, Helen. Oh dear, no, I didn't see that one. No, no, I watched this bloke, Ethan Minnie. He's called. It's called Abandoned Mansions. Yeah. Oh God, yeah. Well, I don't like them floor vent things. All that happens is insects come creeping in, don't they? And you get a draft. I don't know why. I think they built air vents back in the whenever, to try and get fresh air in before everybody had central heating or something. I don't like air vents. Oh, I'd take an old house, yeah. Wouldn't want a new build. I remember my brother, well, it's not a new build now, is it? Because he bought it years ago. When my brother, before he was married, bought a new house, oh, dearie me. The list of things that was wrong with it. And he had windows all along one wall that slid and opened. And the condensation used to run down, and his carpet was wet through. So he had a brand new house with all these blooming towels across the bottom of it. Otherwise, his carpet was wet through. And he had to wring them out and dry them every day and put new ones down. I thought that's ridiculous with a new house, isn't it? Shouldn't have to do things like that. And then his cold water tank burst and it went all down his stairs. Yeah, the draft's terrible, isn't it? I had my computer in the other corner, right next to a vent, and my feet were freezing. Yeah, well, if they don't do the cavity wall insulation right, I believe it's bad. I mean, I had mine done when I was at the other house, but it was really well done. Or it must have been, because I never had any damp problems with it. The only problem I had in my other house was I kept getting little mouldy bits in the corner of the bathroom. But that was, I think, through having showers and stuff. Maybe not having right ventilation in the bathroom, I don't know. Here, I usually open the window a little tiny bit because I can reach it here because it opens outwards. My other one was like up there and I couldn't reach it, yeah. You had the floor heater on, yeah. I've never been anywhere that had underfloor heating. It was a fashion once over here for a while, but I never knew anybody who had it. It was supposed to be the thing over here for a while. I think it was back in the whenever, 1990s or something. But I never fancied it. All the faffing about, they had to put, you know, I mean, they obviously have to put it in. Oh, yeah. on the standing one, yeah. Yeah, but some houses have it in the floor, don't they? But you have to do it, I think, when the house is being built. Otherwise, you'd have to take all the floorboards up, which is a bit awkward if you've got concrete floor, isn't it? Can I have some thumbs up, please? I've only got 14. I see there's 36 people in the room at the minute. That's not quite right, is it? So, it doesn't cost a thing. I don't charge. Thank you. I haven't got my fire lit today. I got some firewood and it's really, really dry. Every time I put it on and light the fire, it's like an inferno. It's like tinder. It burns so quick. I mean, the last lot I got off the bloke who delivered it in the van thing, it was wet and it took ages to catch on fire. It was like smoking. It was awful. But this is like tinder. It's just poof, and it's gone. It's burning it like a rate of knots. Do 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 do. It's going to be all orange at the top of this one. Oh, still, that's the way it is, isn't it? You got me on the TV. Yee, I'm a star. I'm a star. I'm on the TV. Actually, I watch YouTube a lot on the TV. The problem is I forget to go back and put a comment. Oh, good, yeah. You find any groove? That's good. We all need to be in the groove, don't we? I've lost my groove, I think. Like records used to get scratched. I think my groove's got a bit scratched, yeah. I'm always like this at this time of year. I think I suffer from that SAD, the sad syndrome, yeah. I've got a light and I keep forgetting to plug it in. I just feel really, no, I can't say depressed because I always say this, it's not, I can't say depressed because that's being awful to anybody who suffers from depression, because I don't. I just get down, which isn't the same, as being depressed. But I just feel flat. Yeah, I think that's what it is, flat. I don't like it when people bandy that word about saying, "Oh, I'm depressed," when they're not really. They just mean they're a bit out of sorts. And to me, depression is when you can't get out of it, and nothing helps. Whereas me, sunshine, whatever, anything, chirpy helps. Yeah. So that to me is, like you said, just being a bit flat. Yeah. A bit off. Yeah, what's it called? Seasonal something deficit, it's called, into SAD. Yeah. I feel flattened, yeah. Oh, yeah, I did read what had happened to him, yeah. How's his head? How's his bump? His bump on his noggin. Is he playing you up? They have their moments, do children, don't they? Always at the wrong time, yeah. Seasonal affective disorder. That's the one. That's what I've got, yeah. Yeah. I've got a light that when I remember to plug it in, it does work. But my plug's behind the bed. I know it's an excuse. I shouldn't be using it as an excuse. But I can't reach the plug because it's behind my bed. I used to plug it in when I lived at the other house and have it on the desk, So when I got up in the morning, when I get up in the morning, I used to plug it in. when I lived at the other house. Oh, he's bid for freedom. Children are sent to try you. Yeah. My dad always said I should have had another one, which I did try, but it wasn't to be, because you're not one down with the other. Yeah. That's why you have more than one child. Yeah. Single children are sent to try you. They should come in pairs. Not two births, just come in a pair. Yeah. So you'd have to go through it twice. Yeah. Da-dee-dee-dee. That would hurt. What, coming in a pair? Yeah. No, you just go through the same pain. You just have two babies at the same time. Oh, God. Yeah, it's never their fault, is it, Shan? Yeah. I can remember coming home when I was about 3. Luckily, we only lived just across well, it wasn't a big road, it was a street. And there was less traffic, let's face it, in the 1950s. I remember coming home from school on my own. Luckily, my mum was in. I don't think they even had a gate at my school. They probably took the gate away, didn't they, to use it for ammunition or something during the war? Because they used to take away all the metal railings, didn't they, in the war years? Yeah. So I don't think my school even had a gate. Yeah, I went home. I would be about 3.5. Yeah. Yeah, stress is a bummer. It does affect you physically, I think, stress. Yeah. Stress affects me in my stomach, my IBS. If I get stressed, my IBS flares up something awful. And I don't even feel as though I'm stressed. But I suppose that's stress, isn't it? You don't know you're being stressed. Yeah, I don't think my next school had a door that they used to close, but I don't think it was locked. You went in through a double door at the next school I went to, but I'm talking about the baby school, the infant school. I don't think that had any gates. And when I went to the next school, they had doors, but I think if you'd have opened them, if you were late or something, you opened them, yeah. You could have gone home, yeah. No, I left. They do a head count with them open. It's a bit funny. Well, that was the reason why I went into the infant school in the first place, because it was just across the street. I won't say a road, a street from where we lived. And every time Mum opened the back door or whatever, I'd go missing and I'd take myself off and I'd go to school. So they said she might as well stay because I was only about 3 and a bit. Yeah. Yeah. They kept bringing me home. The teacher kept bringing me home because I was only like 3 and a bit. And I wasn't really supposed to be going there until I was 5. And she said, I'm fed up with bringing her back. You might as well let her stay. So I went to school at 3.5. But then I caught everything going in the world. And my mum said I didn't go back again then till I was about 4.5. because I got, chicken pox, measles, whatever. She'd just get me over one thing, get me back into school for about 2 or 3 days, and then I'd come home with something else. Chicken pox. You name it, I had everything going in the first year of school. Oh, I remember having chicken pox at Christmas. I was so poorly on Christmas Day. Oh dear. You'd not propagate anything up here, I tell you, Sean. It's too flipping cold. Yeah. Well, yeah, you need it locked down these days. Look what happened in Southport. They left the doors open for the dancing class because it was so hot. And that lunatic went in and stabbed them, didn't he? Nothing's safe anymore. Oh, you couldn't if you tried round here, Enid. They'd die of frostbite. And who could afford the electricity these days to grow anything like that? You can't afford it for a greenhouse, can you? I mean, where I lived in Prestwich, I mean, if I'd have had a greenhouse, it would have been really hot. I used to have tomatoes in one of those plasticky greenhouse things, yeah. Not to say I ever grew anything else, don't get me wrong. But here, the wind from the sea, you wouldn't grow anything like that. You have a job with certain kinds of plants. I think it's because there's salt in the air, yeah. Hey, by gum. Summer was poor this year, wasn't it? Yeah. I've never tried it either. I mean, some of my mates did, obviously. I'm a child of well, I was a teenager in the 60s, and, most people smoked it or did something then, but I never did, yeah. It never really appealed to me. But it was quite, sort of whatever. I would like to try it if it was legal, just for the pain, to see whether it worked. But I don't fancy, people have said you go a bit buzzy and a bit fuzzy, and I thought, I like to be in control. I don't like to feel as though I'm drunk or weird or something. No, I would only try it if it was legal. Yeah. Well, the one we can get over in the UK doesn't have the whatever it is in it. It's supposed to be all right for pain, but it doesn't do anything. They take all the ingredient out that causes you to have pain relief. Yeah. But the one we can get here, it's just like hemp oil, really. It's got no whatever it is that's in it. Um, and I did try some of the legal stuff, but it didn't do anything. I wouldn't know. I mean, I had a boyfriend once who smoked marijuana and that, and he was absolutely paranoid. In fact, I finished with him in the end because I couldn't stand it. He'd draw my curtains in the lounge because he said people were staring in, and I'm going, they're not staring in. I've had the same neighbours for years and they couldn't give a hoot, you know what I mean? But he was so paranoid. People are staring at me. I said, they're not staring at you. I said, I'm not sitting here in the dark in the daytime with you drawing curtains. He was absolutely and utterly, it sent him doolally in the end, I think. I don't know what happened to him. I got rid of him. I couldn't cope with it all. Moody. Yeah. Yeah, we went anywhere. He's like, look at them, they're staring at me. And I'm going, they're not staring at you. For God's sake. Nobody's looking at you. Stop it. So he had to go. He had to go. Yeah, they go psychotic when they do that, don't they? Hang on, back. No, there's no shaping, it's just cast off. Yeah, I didn't last long with that boyfriend, needless to say. Couldn't cope with that. Plus the fact the house stunk, if he's smoking it when I wasn't in. I didn't like it. I used to go outside. Don't want my house stinking of it. They'll think I'm smoking it too. Yeah, if they're not psychotic, they're asleep, aren't they? Yeah, I can see where you're coming from there, Lisa. No, I couldn't cope with that. That romance did not last long. No, I think if it was legal, I'd have some of the oil. Yeah. No, I'm a bit not straight laced. I wouldn't say I was straight laced, but I don't smoke. The only drugs I do are the ones that get prescribed for by the doctor. Yeah. Um, and I've never smoked, so yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have to take like blood pressure tablets and stuff like that, but that's the only thing I take. Yeah. And every time I go for my prescription checkup, I said, do I have to take all these things? Do I have to take them? I'd rather not take anything at all, but they get you on these things and they won't take you off the damn things. You know. Oh, I tried smoking once when I was about 17, but I had the big thick black mascara and stuff like that. And I just started coughing and coughing, and I was like, in from Kiss, you know what I mean? Big black things, because mascara wasn't like it is now. It definitely was not waterproofed at all. So if you got in the rain or anything, it went running down your face like black rivers. So that's what happened when I tried smoking. I didn't think that the black mascara down your face and the coughing fit was very cool. So I didn't bother. Plus the fact I was at school and I didn't have the money for the cigarettes, anything. Oh, you'll find it if you step on it. I usually find them when I sit on them. If I lose a needle, they always go in your chair. Can't find them anywhere, even with a magnet. Then you sit on it one day and I don't know where my magnet is. I used to have a big magnet. It was great, and I don't know where it went. I never found it after I moved here, and I know I didn't throw it away. And it was great for finding things. It was a great big horseshoe magnet. You used to run it across the floor and it would find anything. Because I was always worried, about dropping a pin because of the animals, yeah. Because I used to have the the old shag pile carpet, from the 60s. Hey, I was a child of I wasn't a child of the 60s. That's wrong, isn't it? I was a young married person in the 60s, and we had all the things you cringe about, yeah, the flowery wallpaper, the orange and brown wallpaper that was like psychedelia. brown shag pile carpet, about that thick. It was just the fashion. We never had carpet up the walls, though, like some people did. Oh, I had a cheese plant. Everybody used to say, you know which house is Janet's because she's got a tree in the bay window. It grew that big. It had leaves like that. And it grew all the way up across the bay window and down the other side. No, we had orange and brown wallpaper that went in and out like that. It was somebody on a trip. And then we had flowered wallpaper as well, with big yellow flowers on it going up the hall. Oh, when you think about it. Oh, my first kitchen cabinets were orange. Orange, shiny, with a silver trim. Oh, when you think about it, how disgustingly awful is that? But it was the fashion, you see. I was married in 1968 and it was the fashion. There was no such thing as grey or beige. Thank God. At least we were more colourful back in the day. Whoever invented grey? Yeah, they're upstairs, the dogs, yeah, upstairs. They'll probably come busting in soon. Whoever thought that grey was a good colour for decor? It's like, it's so passé now, isn't it? Everybody who had grey, they've all moved on now. I think it's splashes of colour now, isn't it? Like dark blues and things like that. They just do these things, don't they? So you'll spend money changing all your decor to what you think is the latest colours. And so, like, everybody's house, you know, was grey. Yeah, magnolia. Oh my God, yeah. I mean, my dad had a thing about brown. Brown doors, brown skirting boards. Oh, and magnolia, like you say. Everything was from magnolia. When he used to paint my bedroom, he used to say, what colour do you want? And I used to say, anything else but magnolia. I don't want magnolia, Dad. Can I not have wallpaper? They used to paint it with that anaglitter stuff, didn't they? So that they could just put a lick of paint over it. So you didn't have to keep wallpaper in it, yeah. I think I did get some wallpaper in my bedroom when I lived with my mum and dad. I mean, I like purple and lilac, but I wouldn't want to paint, you know, my living room lilac. I don't mind white walls. I've got them here. I've got the accent wall, as you can see, but it's covered up with the Billy bookcase things. I mean, I don't mind white if you've got loads of paintings and pictures and things on the wall. I think white makes a good background colour, you know, for artwork and things. But I don't like grey. Grey's depressing. I think, you know, it reminds me of winter days and um, you know, like the colour of the sky in the winter. It's, you know, at least white is cheerful, isn't it? You know, it's brighter. But grey's wintry and depressing to me. I'm sorry if you've got grey walls, yeah. Oh no, I can't do with plain wall. I like white walls. I don't mind them at all, but I've got to have some pictures on them, some colour. I've got to have brighter coloured curtains, and I want to make some bright coloured cushion covers actually. Yeah, grey's it's not a chirpy colour, is it? I mean, beige is bad enough, but at least it's not as bad as grey. Yeah, I'm going to make some bright coloured. I've got a load of bits and bobs in my cupboard behind me there. I want to make some like bright coloured Granny Square cushion cover things. Yeah, I keep saying I'm going to make them, and I never start them. I've got so many bits and bobs. You know, you're trying to. I mean, I did make the shawl, as you know, with a lot of my bits and bobs. I mean, there's no colour palette or anything to that. It was just a shawl I made, just trying to. Oh, I've got another snag on my nail. I'll be losing another nail soon. It's just a shawl I made with all my colours. But I want to make some cushion covers. You know, I've got a dark blue sofa, just to chirp it up a bit. I mean, when I lived in Prestwich, I used to have this big, like, bright coloured granny square throw on the sofa there. But I had to have that because of the dog, you know, because I had Buster back in the day. And he used to shed all over everywhere. So I had to have something that I could wash because I had a cream leather sofa. It wasn't by choice, the cream. I inherited it, if you know what I mean. I needed a sofa and somebody was selling one really, really cheap. So beggars can't be choosers. So I had this cream sofa. But at least it was cream, so you could jazz it up, couldn't you? So I got this great, well, it was my mum's actually, granny square thing, yeah. Yeah, I like we saw some gorgeous ones in a shop here in Cleveland's. They were absolutely gorgeous, and they had these birds on them and that. And I was with my niece, and she said, "Oh, I like them." I said, "Oh, so do I." £33 each. I said, I said, "I don't like them that much. Put them back." £33 for a cushion, and I wanted 4. I thought, no, I shall settle for granny square ones. My friend bought a couple from that dreaded Timu. She thinks they're lovely, but they're like beige or cream velvet. Like, no. Will that do a row? I don't think it will it? And I hate joining in the middle. No, it won't. I shall have to leave it to stitch up with. Unless I'm really desperately running out of wool, I don't like joining in the middle of a row. It bugs me. Oh, I've got a little blip on my nail. I hope that's not going to rip off. It's always the same hand. I always have nice nails on my left hand and ripped off ones on my right. We don't have any shops here. You know, we don't have what do you call them, IKEA. We don't have anything. We don't have a Dunelm without a car trip. You know, it's just all Home Bargains and B&M round here, yeah. At B&M, they're all pastel colours. You know, like pale pink, and I'm not a pastel girl. It's like that granny square throw I've got that I have on the chair when I do my videos. And everybody goes, oh, isn't it lovely? And I'm like, no. It's pale pink, pale blue, lemon. Yeah, I like colour. I'm just a colourful girl, I presume, yeah. Says me wearing black today. This is not my usual me. But my summer dresses are all packed away because it's been too cold to wear them. And my colourful dresses are my summer dresses. You know, the floral ones and the bright colour ones. And they've never been unpacked this summer. They're packed away. I've never unpacked them. I just hope I get a chance to unpack them next year. Just praying for some flipping sunshine. You know, so you can wear. I normally wear boots, actually, to be quite honest with you. I wear ankle boots because these dresses are floor length. I can't wear anything with a heel anymore, sadly, because of my spinal troubles. So I had to get rid of all my nice court shoes, you know. Even the ones with a little heel like that, I couldn't wear. So I usually wear ankle boots or my Doc Martens. But the Doc Martens are a pain to put on because they're calf length. So you have to sort of like start getting ready about half an hour before you want to go out, you know, to get your calf length boots up your leg and laced up, yeah. I'm after a new pair of ankle boots because mine are wearing out, sadly. I have a pair of brown ones and they're cracking across the front. I'd like a nice pair of black leather ones, but of course, I don't have a spare £100 knocking about. I've got wide feet since I've grown older. So if I have shoes, I have those hotter shoes. Are they called hotter? They're very, very boring, old lady, horrible shoes, but they're comfy. I never, ever thought I would say comfy shoes. But when you've got a bad back, you can't wear fancy dancy shoes anymore. I've got a friend and she's got MS and she's in a wheelchair and her legs and feet have swollen and she said that's what she misses the most. Like she went to her son's wedding and she couldn't wear nice shoes. And she said that's what she misses the most is like pretty shoes. I used to have high heels, stilettos and everything. All different colours that I used to wear. And I had to give them all away. I couldn't wear anything. The last time I wore any heels, well, little heels, was to my niece's wedding about 12 or 13 years ago. And I was in absolute agony. I mean, I didn't do any dancing or anything like that. But I was in absolute agony. Just walking like to the buffet or walking to the toilets and things. I thought, no, that's the last time. That's the last time I'll wear. I mean, I sit on my scooter, for goodness sake, 9/10 of the time. You think I could put a nice pair of stilettos on and look posh, but you still got to get off your scooter to go in a shop, don't you? So, no, I can't even wear, not even like that big of a heel, you know, like a little Cuban heel. It has to be more or less flat now, or I can't stand them. It just puts pressure on my spine. And I can't have any more work done on my back, so I watch, is it called Foxes Afloat? Well, there used to be Foxes Afloat. They're now living in Scotland in a farm. And he's got similar kind of condition. He's got spinal stenosis and problems with his discs. And he was saying he needs some injections. And I thought, good luck with that, because I've not been able to have an injection since I came here. Well, they'd stopped them before I came here. They said they found they weren't working, but it was a lie, really. They just stopped them because it was too much money. Oh, my friend's like you. My friend can't seem to stand on 2 feet. She's had another fall. She messaged me today saying she's fallen over in the bathroom. I haven't fallen for a bit, touch wood. So I always go backwards. Don't know why I go backwards, but I fall over backwards. But the last time I fell, I did fall forwards and I really whacked my knee one. It's not been right since. It's my fake knee, you know. And I landed, such a light little, trim little figure. I landed whoop on my bad knee. And of course, I'm a dainty little feather, Yeah. I landed with all the full force of my lovely sylph-like figure. Bang on my knee. Yeah. Well, I'm up to the casting off. Casting off. Don't cast off too tight, Janet. I've got a bad habit of casting off too tight. That is why I never like knitting toe up socks, because I can't cast off loosely. Oh gosh, well, before I had my spine done, I used to get, my legs used to go dead without any warning, yeah. So down I would go, like a ton of bricks. And of course, being only in my 50s back then when it first started, you didn't want a walking frame or anything. You're 50, you don't want a walking frame. So boom. And I think people used to think I'd been in the pub, or I used to pretend to look at the pavement and say, oh, I've fallen over that, And the number of people, oh, you want to take a photograph and sue the council. And I used to say, oh, yeah, well, it doesn't matter. I didn't like telling them it was nothing to do with a paving stone. I hadn't tripped over anything. I'd just gone down like a ton of bricks, Only one day a bloke saw me falling and he went and picked me up. Oh, God, he nearly yanked my shoulders out the sockets. I mean, bless him, he did stop me from falling, but I think he hurt me more than if I'd fallen over. Yeah, I still get the dead legs, yeah. They said that because they'd left it so long to do my operation on my spine, not my fault, theirs, that the stenosis was permanent, nothing I could do. Mine's worse when I get in bed at night. My feet just go tingly and numb and pins and needles, and they feel tight, like the skin's contracted. It takes me ages to fall asleep because of my feet. But what can you do? You can't do anything, can you? There's nothing they can do. Yeah, I can imagine drunk in charge of a child. It's just the indignity. I mean, I started walking with a walker and that, and I got the scooter actually because I was so sick of being picked up in the street. I mean, at first I fought against getting a mobility scooter because I thought I'm too young, which I was at the time. I thought I'm too young for this. I'm too young. But it's less embarrassing to be seen as an old dear on a scooter than it is to keep falling over. You've just got to pick your battles, haven't you? I mean, even now, when I get off the scooter, I don't look like there's much wrong with me, and I get some very funny looks. But I'm just in screaming agony with my back, when I get off the scooter. But of course, you put on a brave face, don't you? And you waddle into the shop. You're like, "Ooh," gritting your teeth. It's just one of those things that you learn to live with. No, they don't. I try not to. My mum was a moaner, Oh, ooh, ooh, every 5 minutes, And she used to say, "Oh, if you were in this pain, you'd be shouting out." I mean, my friend actually said to me, "Why do you go?" And I said, "Well, I prefer to do that rather than shout out." Yeah, yeah. If you don't look disabled, they don't believe you. I don't look disabled when I get off my scooter. I don't. But, like you say, the pain, I try not to let it show. It's just like I swore blind after my mum that I wouldn't be going round all day going, "Ah, like she did." So I just sucked my teeth in like, I'll go, and my friend kept saying, "What do you keep doing that for?" I said, "Well, it's better than shouting, like, ow, top of your voice." I don't want to draw attention to myself. Yeah, there are. I mean, yes, I can walk. It's very, very painful, and I can only walk a very short distance. But yes, technically, I can walk. I can't go for a walk. I can walk around the house. I'm in pain, but I can walk around the house. But I would love to go for a walk. Yeah. Or they say, "Oh, I've got backache." And I'm like, yeah. I mean, my son said to me one day, he's actually got something wrong with one of his discs now, but I'm talking about years ago. He said to me, "Oh, my back." He said, "You don't know what pain I'm in." And then he looked at me and went, "Oh, sorry." I can't even use a rollator unless I have one with a seat. Um, but I have pain all the time. It's just something that you live with. You either put up with it or you whine about it all the time. And I don't. I prefer not to whine about it all the time. You don't. We were talking the other day about a lady that goes to one of the knit clubs, and their introduction to people is always, "Yeah, I'm such a body. I've had breast cancer. And it's like a speech she says all the time, and it's a long time since she had breast cancer, which fair enough. But it's like she has to announce it, to everybody that she meets, yeah. And I prefer not to say, "Yeah, I'm in pain." I prefer not to mention it. I mean, sometimes when I've been on here on a Saturday night, I have been in agony. But I like the company. I like the distraction. I like, being on here, talking to people. It sort of doesn't take the pain away, but it takes your mind off it. Yeah. That reminds me of, when they wanted to send me for pain clinic. When I got there, they're saying, well, you shouldn't really take painkillers and that, which I hardly ever do, by the way. You should distract yourself. And I went, kind of reading a book, listening to music doesn't quite hack it. And my friend said she was going to pain clinic. I said, good luck. Good luck. Anyway, she come back. She said, I know what you mean. She said, are they right in the head? You've got chronic pain. You can't move because of the pain. And they're saying, try a distraction method. Try reading or try listening to some music. Go for a walk. Yeah, we would love to go for a walk. We would absolutely love to go for a walk. Yeah. I used to love taking my dog out for a walk. I miss it like crazy. I would do it if I could. I really, really miss going for a walk, walking on uneven ground, walking on a bit of a hill, bit of a dip. You know what I'm talking about? In the park, up and down, see the trees, instead of staying on the path where it's boring and concrete and yeah, in the end they said to me, there's nothing we can do. I said, well, I could have told you that. My specialist told me that. He said, I'm very, very sorry. He said, I can operate on you again. He said, to stabilise your back. He said, but if you're hoping that I'm going to cure your pain, I'm not. Yeah. Yeah, distraction. I said to him, what do you want me to do? Bang my forehead against a wall. Doom, doom. That would distract me and I gave myself a headache, wouldn't it? I've got very high tolerance. I don't take the painkillers that I should. Very high. Yeah, I mutter under my breath and go. That's my favourite one. And people say, what are you doing that for? It's just the way I cope. Right, I need another ball of wool. Because if I start with that one I've just been using, it starts with orange. It starts with orange. And I know I can't get my fronts to match, but the fronts starts dark. So I don't want my front to start bright orange. And the back started dark as well. So I know I can't get it to match, but I'm going to try and find one ball with a dark start, if you know what I'm saying. No, that's got a light start. Yeah, I try not to curse it. It is dangerous. Oh, that one's got a dark start. That one. Because as you know, I start from the middle of a ball. I know I get yarn bath at times, but I do start from the middle of a ball. This is when I get a load of yarn bath, and I know it's going to happen because it's happened on the other two that I've tried to knit from the middle. Yeah, I should learn another language. If you my luck, I'd probably get somebody going past who was a native speaker. Maybe I should learn Welsh or something. I should learn how to swear in Welsh. Right, Janet, where's the end? Where's the end of your yarn bath? Where is it? Oh, there. No, it's there. No, it's not. Going the other way. Oh, excuse me. That wasn't pain. That was me. Right. Right, Jane. Sort out your yarn bath and don't start with any orange. I might have to cut a little bit out. You walked to the mailbox. Oh, hey, Val. Are you enjoying your holiday? Val's on holidays. She's in London. No. I've got yarn bath, Val. Yarn bath. Mm. Oh, dearie me. This is where I was last week, isn't it, with yarn bath? Well, I hope you were on your own when you were swearing. Oh, here we come. Here she comes. Hi, Rosie. My son's snoring upstairs. Rosie's gone again. She's probably come out of the way of his son snoring. He had a tooth out the other day, so he's not feeling himself. He's not feeling very well. Right, I have to wind this orange off because I don't want to start with the orange. That's the only problem with yarns with great big colour changes, isn't it? You try to get them similar, don't you? I know you can't get them to match, but I don't want an orange rib when the other two ribs are dark. It's just me being pedantic, isn't it? Yeah. It's a big word for Saturday, isn't it? Pedantic. No, it's some weird wool I got. I don't know where I got it from. It's actually worked out to be chunky. It doesn't say anything on the label except that's what it says, Nagano. I cannot remember where I bought it from. It doesn't even say where it's from. Somebody thought it was Spanish. Somebody else thought it was Polish. It's acryl or something. Acryl, 100 grams. To me, it looks Polish or something like that, or Turkish top text, but I don't know where it's from. It might have come from Lily's little yarn shack or something. Rosie, what are you doing? She's licking her feet. What are you doing, sweetheart? Eh? What are you doing? Is Daddy snoring? Is that what you've come down for? Is Daddy snoring? She doesn't like a lot of noise. Yeah, my son doesn't like taking painkillers, but he's got a herniated disc in his back, and then he had a tooth out the other day. So he's feeling a bit painful. Yeah, he went to the dentist. They said it was so many £100 to have his tooth filled and so much to have it taken out. So he said, "Oh, just take it out." That's what I did. They wanted 300 and something for a filling. Yeah, I've got stenosis. In other words, my spine's falling to bits, in other words. But I mean, at my time of life, what do you expect, you know? What do you expect? You can't get to my age without having any problems, can you? Well, if you can, you know, if you're a good, healthy person. It's at times like this I wished I'd looked after myself better when I was younger. But you don't think. You don't think when you're young. You don't think about the future when you're younger. You don't think, oh, I need to take calcium tablets or I need to do this to help my bones. And you don't think about that when you're young. You think you're invaluable or whatever it is. Infinity. You think you last forever. Oh, she's gone again. I never thought infallible. That's what it is. I never thought about getting old when I was young. What are you doing, sweetie? Eh? What are you doing? Invincible. That's the right word. You're right there, Mimi. That's the word. Well, you don't, do you? You know, if you say to a 20-year-old or a 30-year-old, oh, when you get old, you know, they're like, nah. It's like me when I used to wear my 5-inch stiletto heels. Oh, you'll do your back in, going up and down them ladders at work with your high heels on. You think, silly old fool, don't you? You know what I mean? Hmm. Somebody's phone's ringing upstairs. Yeah, I just never thought. You don't when you're 20 and 30. I mean, I had trouble with me back in my 20s because of, you know, when I had my son. I was only 22 when I had my son. Or was I 22? Or was I 23? Oh, one or the other. And I had back problems after I had him. And I've had knee problems since I've been 13. I used to be very athletic before. Have I swallowed a dictionary? Yeah, I know. I like using big words. My brother used to use big words all the time. And he used to say to me, use your education. Don't dumb down. And I used to think, you know, you're right, aren't you? If you've got, I mean, today's kids, oh dear, I don't think they've used a dictionary in their life, have they? Today's kids, every word, every adjective is effing, you know what I'm saying? I said that to a guy. I said, I'm sure you know another adjective besides effing this and effing that. And he looked at me strange, you know. I said, because that's the only thing you've said. When you're describing anything, it's effing this and effing that. I said, come on, use your words. 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 32, 34, 36. I couldn't do that again, could I? I've cast on exactly the right number of stitches without counting them. Well, wowee. Right. First row, purl 1, knit 2, purl 2. Right, okay. I can do that. Oh, jab there here. Oh, yeah, I used to, when I worked in Salford, they don't know how to say the word tea. It was job centre, Peter. And I used to say, it's got a T in it. You know, everything, nothing gets pronounced with the T. Peter. But they used to abbreviate everything. I mean, I hear myself sometimes and I keep saying like. You know, when you say things in a sentence and you hear yourself. Oh, yeah, water. Yeah, it's another one. When you hear yourself saying like or you know, when you're in the middle of a sentence and you like pause, it's like sort of, yeah. With me, I think it's like I say a lot. And I'll say, you know, like, and then I think when I listen to myself back, I think, oh, Janet, stop doing that. Speak properly. My mum used to pull me up. You know, if I didn't speak properly, she would pull me up. So did my brother. Basically, yeah. What is it that Denise always says? Denise always says something like, you know what I mean, or something. I can't remember what phrase Denise uses, but she says it all the time. And she probably, like me, she probably doesn't realise that she says it all the time. I think we've all got our idiosyncrasies, and it's sometimes when I listen to myself back on when I used to do the videos all the time, I always used to play them through before I put them out, just to make sure I hadn't, inadvertently said anything I shouldn't. And sometimes I think, oh, Janet, you said that such a lot of that word. What did you keep saying that for? And you notice your mannerisms when I notice I always keep looking to the left or something when I'm doing like I'm looking out the window or something. And I look at myself and I think, oh, you're doing it again. You're doing it again. And you go through life not thinking you've got any habits or word ticks or whatever until you watch yourself on a video. And then you think, oh my God, my accent's awful. Or why do you keep looking to the left, Janet? Why do you keep looking in the air? I have a terrible bad habit of doing that. Have I still got the dog? Oh no, she's gone, I think. My ex-husband used to pull me all the time for saying things like buzz instead of a bus. Oh no, she's out there somewhere. I can hear her. She's on the doormat, I think, in the hall. Pasta. That sounds like a posh London person. Pasta. It's pasta. It's like somebody from London when they say bath. We say bath. Yeah. You in for a bath or down the path? I remember the little girl next to me moved in and she was from London and they'd just moved in and her mum must have cut her finger or something. And she come and she said, Mum wants to know if you got a plaster. Yeah, sit on wall, yeah. Well, we say basil. Americans say basil. And you say cilantro. We don't have cilantro. We have coriander. And we have oregano. Yeah, not oregano. There's lots of things there. But the worst one gets me is aluminum. I'm like, no, it's aluminium. You're missing a whole chunk out of the word. How can you call it aluminum when it's got aluminium? And caramel. No, it's caramel. You miss whole bits out of words sometimes in America. It's like the middle of the word doesn't exist. Yeah. English as she is. Yeah. Yeah, caramel. It's not caramel, it's caramel. It's got an A in it. And another thing that gets me is Tunisian. Tunisia? People live in Tunisia. They don't live in Tunisia. And like Iraq and Iran, what's all that about? It's Iraq and Iran, yeah. She's up on the sofa now. She must have come in here because it's quieter. She spends a lot of time in here. She likes the quiet. Does our Rosie. She knows I don't have the TV on loud or anything like that. Hello? Somebody sending me messages. I don't blame you, Enid. Don't blame you, love. Passionate Kelsey is crocheting live if you want to know. She's the girl who can sell scrunchies for $18 each. She's complaining she's got too many orders. She's a bit so lucky. If I was getting orders for, for scrunchies at $18 each, I wouldn't be moaning I had too many orders. I'd be going, yippee! She buys that, I've never even heard of it, Juicy Couture yarn or something. It looks like blanket, fuzzy blanket yarn. That's what she makes her scrunchies with. It's as thick as anything. It's like thick, furry stuff. Passionate Kelsey, she's called. Passion Knit Kelsey. She crochets. I think she gets 4. I don't know how much the wool is or the yarn is. She gets this big ball of Juicy Couture, whatever that is. And she makes 4 from one ball and she sells them for $18 each. $18 each. And she makes string bags as well. She sells them for, I don't know how much she sells them for. Yeah, she sticks them little well, she don't stick them on the scrunchies, obviously. But when she has any bags, she sticks those leather labels on, with a stud thing. She tightens up with a screwdriver. But she appeals to the young ones, you see, I suppose. I wonder how they went on at the craft. They had a craft fair today at where I used to go to be craft fairs at the church hall. I got fed up with it though because it's supposed to be a craft thing, and yet half of the time it was people who'd bought things to sell. And I'm not being mean, but I thought, well, that's not really a craft fair, is it? If you're buying stuff in to sell. There's somebody coming down to take the dogs out. I thought like a craft fair was like when you made things to sell, whatever craft it was, yeah. No, these aren't even craft supplies, Sean. People buy things like, well, sweets or whatever, or things that you put in crocks, like in the holes in crocks and stuff like that. And then children's books and stuff. Yeah. Canadians say oot instead of out, don't they? Oot. I'm going oot. My hand is hurting now. I'm mad, and I'm knitting through it. It hurts when I knit, and it hurts when I don't knit. So, you know. Well, the Scottish say oot as well, do they? Yeah. I know the Canadians say oot. Because I've never heard an American say oot. Oh my God. I thought she was back then for a minute, but she's not. It must have been my daughter-in-law. She shut the door. My son never does that, so it must be her. I've got honeycomb. Marks and Spencer's honeycomb. It's a bit like Crunchies, but it's much harder. It's like a jawbreaker. Honeycomb. Mm. Crunchies sort of dissolve in the middle. Mm. These are break your teeth ones, these. Mm. Oh, we would say a queue. Yeah, we would say we're queuing up, yeah. Bet it wasn't as tough as this, Lisa. We're very good at queuing. We're British, we're queue. I think we're the only country in the world that queues. Everybody else just makes a mad rush for the bus or something. But we get quite pedantic about queues here. You don't jump a queue. If you jump a queue here in the UK, you get told, excuse me, this is a queue. You don't push in. It's the biggest crime of all nations, pushing in a queue. We stand in line for hours, don't we, over here? You don't push in. We're very polite over here. We say, excuse me, do you know there's a queue? You always join the wrong queue, though. Have you never noticed? You always join the one that goes the slowest, and you wish you joined the other queue. But if you swap from one queue to the other, that queue starts going slower than that one did. But if you go somewhere like France or something like that, if the bus arrives, they just all make a mad dash for it. There's no order. You know, you could have been there ages. Oh, look at that one. It's a double take. it's it's a crunchy bra. Yeah, you always join the wrong lane in traffic as well, don't you? And you're like, what annoys me is you're all queuing up, and there's a sign on the road that says you have to go in miles back. You always get that one silly beggar, don't you? Comes up the outside lane and then expects you to let them in. Yeah, I can remember your Barbie boos. Shan used to have Japanese treats sent to her, and some of them were very, very weird. And she had one that looked like pink Barbie's boobs. But if anybody used to do that to me, I used to refuse to let them in. And you used to get a torrent of abuse. But I used to go, no. And I used to give them two-fingered salute, you know. I thought, no, I've queued all the way up here. You are not shooting up the fast bit and zipping in at the last minute. No, go away. And it's never a woman, always some arrogant young male. I remember somebody acting a twit on the motorway, being a total and utter prat. And these four lorries boxed him in, like one either side, one in front, one behind. And they went really, really slowly up the motorway. I bet he was fuming, this young lad. He couldn't get out, he couldn't get in anyway. And they did that for ages. They kept him trapped in the middle of four wagons. My stabby jabby's tomorrow. Tomorrow night, my stabby jabby. I was watching another of those women extolling the virtues of this Mountjoy, whatever it's called, about losing weight. And she was going on about feeling sick all the time. And she'd lost like 12 pounds in the first month. But then with the second month, she'd lost like £2 a week or something. And I'm like, is it worth it feeling sick all the time? It's not getting much better over here, Mimi, I tell you. It's getting bonkers over here. Everybody's getting stabbed. I mean, they don't have guns, but they've got knives. Every time I pick up the paper. And it's usually some kid, well, teenager that's been stabbed. You know, you're thinking, what's wrong with the world today? Why does everybody have to carry a knife and whatever? I mean, in America, they carry a gun, at least with. Here, it's knives, yeah. Um, Ozempic, the minute you stop taking it, your weight comes back. And people don't seem to realise that if they start paying £140 a month for the drug. I mean, I don't know, Mimi. They haven't said. I didn't lose my weight through the Ozempic. I lost my weight before. All I will say is it seems to maintain my appetite. It doesn't make me lose weight. Um, I take it to control my blood sugars. I don't take it for weight loss. So my dosage is probably not as much as the ones who take it for weight loss. Oh, we have road rage over here. Not just in the US, we have road rage over here, believe me. Hi, Gloria. As I say, we may not have guns. Well, we do have guns, but we don't have legal guns. But it doesn't stop them knifing people and punching people. And I don't know what's wrong with the world today. It's not just one country. You can't just say, oh, it's America, oh, it's this. It's not, it's everywhere. Yeah, they go ballistic over here. If somebody cuts in front of you. I mean, if somebody cuts in front of you, yeah, you might swear at them and wave your fist and that, but you don't go around and punch them in the face, do you? You know, it's just really ridiculous. It's like people have got no control over their temper anymore. Yeah, I mean, I blame a lot of it on these violent films, violent videos. We never saw things like that when we was kids. The only violence we ever saw was the war. You know, we didn't watch these. I mean, I can't go to the cinema anymore. I just don't want to watch any films anymore. Yeah, so it is the internet and games and stuff like that. These games where they're killing people all the time on these games, and they think it's just like that in real life, and it just isn't. Oh, I don't take it. When you've worked at the job centre, you get called every name under the sun, including quite a few swear words. So you learn to say, oh, whatever, you know. You know, when they used to swear and shout and carry on at me, I used to say, have you done? Have you finished? Because if you think you're shocking me, you're not. I've heard it all before. So let's just carry on with what you're supposed to be doing, shall we? And leave it at that, yeah? You just learn to deal with what you call a difficult situation. Oh, gosh, I mean, yeah. How many times do you go out and you see some little kiddie saying, Mum, 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 and she's on her phone, yap, 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 taking no notice what of a kiddie at all. And the kid's trying to attract her attention for something like that. And you're thinking, for goodness sake, just stop yapping on your phone and look at your kid. Just talk to your child. They don't play with their kids. They don't talk to their kids. They don't read to their kids. They just bung them in front of the telly, and it's just used as a nanny, isn't it? I can't be bothered. I mean, I used to play hours with my child. I used to read to him, used to do all sorts of things with him. I was working full time, but you play with your children. That's what you have children for. You take care of them, you talk to them, you show them how to do things, and you play with them. You don't just park them in front of a telly or give them like a computer game and just ignore them. Yeah, I used to go to knit club with a girl. Her kid was about 3 or 4 years old, and he was watching totally inappropriate things, on the internet that were for kids 12 and over. And he was about 3. And she's saying, it's a cartoon. I said, no, it's not a cartoon. I said, it's for older children. I mean, I would have put it as older than 12, to be quite honest. And she was letting him watch that. Well, you do wonder, don't you, whether they're on high. Half of the time is they just can't be bothered with the kids. They just don't want to. I just see it all the time, where they don't talk to the children. Every now and again, I'll see a parent and they're sitting talking to their children and pointing things out to them and everything as they're going along. And I'm thinking, that is a parent. Their children will grow up level-headed, yeah. Well, I used to see it a lot in Salford. We used to deal with the 16 to 18-year-olds. Half of them had come out of care and different things like that. And they'd be having babies because they wanted somebody to love, all this crap. And then they'd get a flat and everything. And the next time you spoke to them, where's the baby? Oh, it's in care. They didn't realise a baby would stop them going out having fun. As soon as that baby tied them in, they didn't want it anymore. A baby's not a doll. It used to happen all the time. They don't realise that a baby takes a lot of looking after. It doesn't just lie in a pram looking pretty all day long. I was fortunate, really. I didn't go out a lot when my son was a baby, but my mum and dad used to look after him. If we wanted to go somewhere, if we had somewhere special to go, my mum and dad would look after him, take him to their house and keep him overnight. So I was very lucky in that respect. But we didn't go in the pub all the time. We weren't out. We didn't use my mum and dad as unpaid babysitters and stuff. It was usually if we wanted to go somewhere, there's somewhere special. We were going, something different that we wanted to do. We didn't just have date nights and just go out for whatever it was. I didn't wear my mum and dad out, if you know what I mean. I didn't abuse their nannying skills. But every now and again, my mum would say, I'll have Ian if you want to go out for the weekend, if you want to go out Saturday night. And it's like, oh, yeah. I mean, sometimes when Ian was a baby, I'd be so tired. All I wanted to do was go to bed early and have a good night's sleep. My ex-husband would be, yeah, come on, let's go out. We've not got the baby, let's go out. And I used to be, because I was always the one who was up with him in the night. All I wanted to do was stay in bed. I've got yarn bath. No, as I say, I was very lucky having my parents because I used to take them to work with me. I would have never been able to work if I didn't have my parents. I mean, I'll always be grateful to my parents because I never had to leave him anywhere. He never had to go, to a babysitter or anything. I've dropped my needle. I mean, I could never have gone back to work Could never have afforded the nursery fees. Well, they didn't have nurseries like they do now. I mean, now you can get your child in nursery if you've got the money. Why can I not pick my needle up? Because you're doing it with your left hand, which is your bad hand. So why don't you bend over with the right hand and pick it up? So as I say, I was always very, very fortunate, for which I was grateful for. Otherwise, I could never have gone back to work. And that was the one thing my ex-husband, never understood, why I was so loyal to my parents. When Ariane got older, he was always nagging me to get a better paid job. You don't have to stay working in the shop for peanuts. You know, and I kept saying, I can't do that to my parents. You know, they're depending on me to take over the business. You know, I can't just say, right, okay, thanks very much for looking after me, baby. Thanks very much for letting me work here, but I'm off now. You know, I want more money. I couldn't have done that. He could never understand that. Why I couldn't just say to my parents, right, I'm off now. But I had some extreme loyalty to my parents. I think I was just so grateful. I would have loved to have been a stay-at-home mum, but unfortunately, I just couldn't. You know, my ex-husband wasn't working. He didn't earn much at first. When we first got married, he was on very low wages. He was like what you call an apprentice, and you didn't get your full money until you'd been working for it's telecom. It was what do you call it? Not the post office. What's it called? Something or other. Anyway, it went to be telecom afterwards. But you had to be working there for so many years before you went on full money. So he was on a very poor wage when we first got married, and we just couldn't manage. So I didn't go back to work because I wanted to go back to work. I would have loved to stayed at home with my baby. But sadly, it wasn't to be. So I had to go back, which was very difficult, with a very fractious baby who didn't know what sleep was. You know, he thought sleep was for sissies, my baby. People say, but he's just such a young baby, he must go to sleep sometime. And I'm like, no, he's literally awake for about 20 hours out of the 24. Even my dad used to say that when they used to look after him for the weekend sometimes. Does that baby never sleep? I said, no. This is why, you know, I've got eyes down on my knees, because he never goes to sleep. And there was no such thing in my marriage like where he took the night, you know, I'll do the night shift, dear. Never happened. It was all, I have to go to work in the morning. You know, you're only going to the shop. Like I could lie on the counter and have a nap, you know. I have to work in the morning. Can't you do something with him? You try doing something with a baby that cries all the time. You had a husband like that. Yeah, they're great, aren't they? Very helpful. When I hear of people who have, oh, sounds a bit familiar, that, Sean, yeah. Can't you take him downstairs to feed him? Because I can still hear him crying up here and I'm trying to sleep. What a pity, dear, what a pity. He would have had me sleeping in the other room with the baby in another room. He would have had me out of the way so he could have a night's sleep. He was a great husband, not. Right, how many rows of rib do I have to do? Yeah, I hate queue jumpers as well. And it happens all the time, doesn't it? You always get one. Or do you mind if I come in front of you? I've only got these two things. Yes, I do mind. I've been studying for half an hour. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. 16 rows I've got to do. 2. Why is it you can't count rows when you want to? No, mine didn't sleep in the daytime. I think he was like 2 or 3 when he slept through the night at first, and I was panicking. I thought he died in sleep. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Can't work it out if that's 16 or I think it's 16. 2, 4, 6. No, I wouldn't have minded if Irene had been just awake in the night, but he used to cry and carry on. And you're thinking, oh, just be quiet for a bit. You know, I couldn't sit him in his bouncer chair or anything. He wanted to be entertained all the time. He wouldn't just be on his own, you know, awake. I used to take him downstairs because I used to get in trouble because, of course, he'd be crying. And if I didn't take him downstairs, I'd be in trouble. And then he'd wake up with the alarm, come downstairs and say, are you making me breakfast? And I used to think, oh, I've not had a wink of sleep all night with your baby, and you come downstairs and say, aren't you making me breakfast? You know I'm going to work. Yeah. Yeah, my son had that, whatever. They thought he had that vomiting thing, you know, where they projectile vomiting. They thought he had that. Yeah, I used to try and catnap on the sofa, you know, with Ian downstairs, and I used to put him in his little chair or try and catnap with him, you know, downstairs, and he'd fall asleep maybe for 5 or 10 minutes, and then he'd woke up and and I'd literally be absolutely physically exhausted. And I always had friends who had babies that slept through the night and were absolutely wonderful and marvellous. And I used to think, are they lying or what? But they always looked like fresh as daisies, you know. Oh, having a baby is wonderful, yeah. And I used to think, why have I got such a rat bag? What have I done wrong in my life to be blighted with this baby that never sleeps? When my 2 nieces were born, they were absolute little angels. Yeah, my son had colic. They said, oh, it stops at 3 months. I was counting the days. When it got to 3 months and it didn't stop, I was like, oh, they've lied to me again. It is hard, Denise, going to work. I'd find myself like that at the counter, you know. In between serving customers, I'd be kind of nodding off. Yeah. I mean, my dad used to say to me, there's something wrong with this baby. He keeps screaming like this. I said, he's got colic. And in them days, they didn't give you anything. You know, the doctor, they just said, give him gripe water. I mean, now they give him more medication, but it was just like gripe water when Ian was small, and it didn't do any good at all with his stomach. And he used to pull his little legs up and scream. He was in absolute agony. And he could rock him this way, that way, jump him up and down, pat his back. Nothing ever worked. The only thing that ever worked with my son to get him to sleep was pushing him in his pram. I used to go round the block about 2 and 3 in the morning in my nightie and my dressing gown, pushing the big pram around the block. But the only trouble is when I fetched him back in again, he'd waken up. Yeah, social media is to blame, I think. But if you say that, people say, "Oh, no, it's nothing to do with video games. Nothing to do with the tech." Well, how come we were all, I won't say we were all angels, but we didn't have access to all that. Oh, teething. Oh, please, yeah. You just got them over the colic, didn't you? And then they started with the teeth. Ooh. I mean, I fell pregnant when Arian was a very small baby, and I was absolutely horrified. And I know it sounds awful, but I miscarried. And I remember thinking, oh, God, what a relief. And afterwards, I thought, oh, you are awful, you know. The fact that I lost that baby, I was like, oh, I would have had two. I think I would have had two under 14 months, I think, if I'd have carried that baby. My mum kept saying, you'll cope, you'll cope. And I kept saying, no, I won't, Mum, I can't cope. Not with two of them. And I used to blame myself. I used to think to myself, did I miscarry it because I didn't want it? Yeah. But it was nothing to do with that. I miscarried all the others afterwards. So it was a physical thing, nothing to do with my mental state. But I felt really bad about feeling good, you know, about dodged a bullet there, you know what I mean? And then I felt awful afterwards. I thought, oh, God, have you willed that baby away? But it turned out it was nothing I did. Yeah, I've heard that before. Some people have great pregnancies when they've got MS and then they relapse afterwards. My friend with MS, she found out she had it after a third, but she'd been having symptoms really before that, but dismissing them as something different. It was only after she'd had her third baby that she found out she had. Yeah, I used to think that about Arian. One was more than enough. Although I would have wanted more. Didn't want a lot, I just wanted two. But sadly, it wasn't to be. You just have to deal with what you get given, don't you? If it doesn't work out that way. You're negotiating what? Yeah. No, motherhood's not for the faint-hearted, no. That's what I mean. Today's young kids that get pregnant at 16 and stuff, they really don't know what they're letting themselves in for. Yeah, if I'd have carried the second baby, that Arian would have been 14 months when I had him, or her. I always think of it being a him, I don't know why. I never knew. So I always thought the baby I lost was a boy. It's funny how you make your mind up, isn't it? Because I always thought Arian was a boy and I was right. And I always had the feeling that the one I lost was a boy. Well, one of the first ones I lost. God knows what all the other ones were. Well, like I say, it's awful to feel glad when your baby doesn't make it, isn't it? But I just didn't. Stuff's going on, holy moly. If you've got more than one kid, you need a referee. My two nieces used to fight like little hellcats. I mean, they're great now, but they're in their 50s now. But they used to hate each other when they were young. They were always falling out. And I used to think to myself, oh, I don't know whether I could deal with two kids. Ah, do, 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 do. If you want to know the time, ask a policeman. Now, why did that pop into my head? Yeah, all of my pregnancies were not planned. None of them were planned. All of them were failures of birth control of some description, yeah. Well, I don't know how I managed it. Either I was very fertile or he was. I don't know which one of us was. I had no problem at all getting pregnant, even when I shouldn't have been. I just had problem holding on to them. Oh dear. My hand is killing me now. I wonder where we would be if we didn't have any kids. I wonder what my life would have been like. Wouldn't have married his dad for a start. Yeah, well, I probably married somebody else though. Hmm. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Who would I have married if I didn't marry his dad? What kind of life would I have had? I often wonder, what would life have been like if I'd have gone to university like I was planning to? If I hadn't have had to have my appendix taken out? If I'd have gone to the Freshers' Week at university and taken up my place in the halls of residency? What would my life have been like? Something we don't know, isn't it, that? I wouldn't have been around in Manchester. I wouldn't have met his dad. I would have been in Liverpool at the time in university. We never know the tricks. And you wanted to run your own. I wanted to be an occupational therapist. That's what I was going to Liverpool University for. But I missed the Freshers' Week and I missed my place in halls because I had my appendix out on the week I should have gone. So I said quite cheerfully, oh, I'll take the year out and I'll go next year. And of course, I never did. Fatal. This ball of wool feels far more woolly than the last one did. I wonder why. I never got a message back from Trev. I messaged him to see if he was okay, but I never got a message back. It's getting near time for Lydia to pop in for the last 10 minutes, isn't it? She always pops in just as I'm going off, doesn't she? She's got about 10 minutes. She said because it's afternoon over where she lives, like she's always gone out doing shopping. And she comes on just as I've disappearing. Have the clocks changed in America? I know they usually change, don't they, about a week after ours do. I'm going to be in agony with this happened, you know. Oh, the clocks went back, did they? I know you do it usually about a week or so after us, don't you? I can never get used to the time differences in the different parts of America. How it's, I mean, if you cross over a state line, do you have to turn your clock? Is it that sort of, you know, if you're in this state, it's 3 o'clock, and if you go into the next one, it's 4 o'clock. When do you change your time? You know, your watches. You know, as you cross the state line, is that when you change your watch? Do the clocks on your cars automatically change? Or what happens? Do you have to twist them around? It must be very. Can you imagine being a long distance lorry driver? You're not knowing what blooming time it is as you go from state to state, having to try and get used to what time it is. Yeah, you know, these truckers that drive across country. How do they manage? Yeah, can you imagine? You set off one side of America, and by the time you've got to the other side of America, you're an hour or two different. At least here we're so small, we've just got Greenwich Mean Time and we're the same. Apparently, though, donkeys years ago, there used to be different time zones in the UK, but I'm going back many, many years ago. But then the trains came along and it played havoc with because nobody knew what time the trains were in their neck of the woods. So they had to adapt this Greenwich Mean Time, and that everybody clock would be on the same. Yeah. Yeah, it must be very confusing if you're a long distance lorry driver. You start off in one time zone and finish up in another. It's bad enough when you go on holidays and you fly abroad, we have to alter our clocks or watches. You get some old ears, you know, and they're saying, how come when we're flying it takes us like 4 hours, meaning like the clock's changed, and when we're coming back home again it only takes us about two and a bit? And you're trying to explain to them that like they're crossing time zone and they don't get it. They must think they have a faster plane coming home. You know, they kind of landed in the UK like about just after they've taken off in somewhere else, and they can't get that at all. I've never been that far abroad to get jet lag. I've never been further than about, I think, 4 hours flight's been the longest I've ever done. I don't like flying anyway. Hi, Yolanda. You just about crept in before I'm going. You have 6 time zones. Oh my goodness. Poor lorry drivers if they're doing long distance. How would they cope? Or trains, if you're going on a train from one side of the US to the other. You get on at one time and then you get off in a different place at a completely different time. It must be very confusing. But as I say, we're so small in the UK, we've only got one time zone. We're just a little country. Four on the mainland and one in Alaska. I used to follow a crocheter who lived in Alaska, but I think she's moved back into further down again, back into the USA. I never knew why she moved to Alaska. It wasn't like she had a family or anything. She lived on her own, I think. Oh, weather, yeah. My friend went to Manchester the other week and she said, "Oh, it's so warm." I said, "Yeah, you will be." I said, "It's a different climate altogether in Manchester. And if you go down south where Charles lives, it's a different climate altogether. It's freezing up at the top end. Practically Arctic some days. And the further you go up in Scotland, the colder it gets. I wonder if Lizzie's coming over yet. She's coming over to the UK sometime this year. She's got friends, I think, that she comes over to see. It's a long way, isn't it? I don't know how long the journey is from the USA. I would imagine many hours in the plane. If I went to America, I'd have to travel business class and sleep. No way. Otherwise, I'd be like a zombie at the other end. I'd have to be wealthy enough to fly business class and sleep. Yeah, I'd have to sleep, Nathan. I couldn't just sit still well, my legs wouldn't let me, and my back wouldn't let me. I'd have to be horizontal. Oh, we've not had any Lydia. She's not come in. How many hours sleep? I probably have about 6, maybe 7 on a good day. I would say probably about 6. The alarm wakes me up at 8, but I don't always get out of bed, but I don't go back to sleep. I just stay in bed when it's nice and warm. But actual sleep, I don't sleep very well. I keep waking up. Sometimes I do have a nap unintentionally. I don't I don't plan on having a nap, but sometimes I'm watching the TV and then I suddenly realise I'm watching something different because I've probably nodded off for about half hour. Yeah. But I just wake up a lot in the night. Richard, no, he wasn't. Why was he one of yours? Which ex do you mean? The one who smoked the weed, or? Oh, I get it now. Yeah, Richard Head. Yeah, he was, definitely. You need 10 hours. No, I don't. My bladder would wake me up for 10 hours. If I wake up about 2 and 3 in the morning, I always have to go to the bathroom. And then, of course, when you go to the bathroom, you wake up, don't you? Because it's cold in the bathroom. Well, it is in the middle of the night. So then you can't get back to sleep again. I can't sleep without well, it's not a hot water bottle. It's like a heat pad thing. I put in the microwave. I can't sleep without that. I cannot get in a cold bed. If I get in a cold bed, that'd be me awake all night. Oh, nearly the witching hour. My hand will be saying, thank goodness. I'll put some analgesic cream on it, but it doesn't help. It's really hurting now if I open it up. Oh, my friend, she's like Rip Van Twinkle. She's never out of her bed. I said to her, you're missing so much of life. Why do you keep sleeping so much? I can't help it if I'm sleepy. I said, well, stop taking so many damn pills then. She's about 15 years younger than me. She's wasting her life sleeping. I'm too nosy. I couldn't sleep too long. I'm too nosy. I'd be frightened of missing something. You should have had my mother. You wouldn't have slept. You wouldn't have been able to sleep in if you had my mother. She didn't believe in the lying. No, I can't sleep that long. I get dopey if I sleep too long. I can't do anything for the rest of the day. If occasionally, if I wake up and it's about 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, which means I've had about 8 hours, 9 hours sleep, I'm terrible. I can't function at all. I'm the opposite. My brain's fogged. I can't do anything for the rest of the day. I've had too much sleep, if you know what I mean. I've just, you know, I'd say mine's about, I never get to sleep much before 1. And then the alarm wakes me up. Sometimes I'm up in the middle of the night because I go to the bathroom. Or I just wake up. And then I wake up at 8. Then usually I turn the alarm off and have another hour, but I wouldn't call it sleep. I'd just call it lying in bed, staying warm. Yeah. Because if it's cold in the house, I won't get up. Can't be doing with being cold. And but if I sleep longer than that, I'm just doped. I'm absolutely zombified if I sleep longer than that. Right, that's my knitting done for the night. My hand is killing me now. Oh, I never showed you my sock, did I? Oh, I never showed you my socky. Hope I don't pull it off the needles. There's my sock with a funny heel that I don't like. It's a weird heel. I've never done a heel like that before. It goes round a corner. It's the weirdest heel pattern I've ever done. As I say, I won't be matching the stripes up. I won't be wearing them, Yolanda. I don't wear socks. I don't know why I've knitted them, but it was just something to do. I've got a drawer with about 6, 7 pairs of socks, handmade socks that hardly ever see the light of day. It was just I had the wool, and so I thought, what can I make? It's a bit itchy, so I didn't want to make hand warmers with them. The other sock wool I've got is lovely soft wool, so I might make hand warmers with them. But yeah, I'll go to bed tonight, but I'll probably either listen to some stories or read for a bit. That'll be me. I won't be able to sleep when I first get in bed tonight, because when I've been out or when I've been chatting to people or when I've been up, like tonight, I've been up, I can't nod off. I'll just stay awake. Put my sweeties away. Can't eat too many of them because I've got to see the doctor on Tuesday. I'm going to ask him about this hand, if he'll let me. You know what they're like. You can't ask about 2 things at once. You have to make another appointment. Yeah, I can be dog tired, get in bed, and then my brain starts thinking of something that's happened about a year ago. You know, and you're like, stop, switch off, think of something nicer. And I try to think of something nicer, like, you know, I'm on holiday, I'm in this place, I'm in that place. I try to think of something better, but it doesn't always work, yeah. But I'll start thinking about anything and my brain starts churning, then I can't get to sleep. I mean, many, many times I've been up all night completely because I just get up and read a book. So if I can't get to sleep, then that's, yeah. Well, I can't blame it on ADHD as far as I know. I've not got that. It's just that my brain, if my brain gets what I call like a kernel in it, you know, a thought, my brain goes over and over and over the scenario, yeah. And I'm like, switch off, switch off. You've thought about that now. Stop thinking about it. Or if I've got something I've got to do or something I've got to say, I like over rehearse it in my brain. And it's like I can't switch it off. I overthink things, you know, overthink it. I don't know if anybody else is that way. Is that you? Yeah. I just wish I could just turn a switch and stop thinking about this, whatever it is. If I read, I fall asleep, but I don't stay asleep. Try humming. Oh, I have to try humming. Yeah, I'll fall asleep with a book. No problem at all. I can guarantee within a few pages I've nodded off, but I wake up. I don't stay asleep. Probably most of the time because I've got the light on, so I can read, or I've got my glasses on. And when I've got my glasses on and my breathing massive, 2 things don't go together. Also, I can't sit up in this bed. I've got to lie down with a book like that. So inevitably it falls on my head and wakes me up. I've tried milky drinks. I've tried all sorts of things. I've tried taking painkillers at night. Oh, quite a lot of times I feel sleep deprived, yeah. I have a bit of, I've tried soft music and then it stops or something and then I wake up. If you try it on YouTube, you get adverts in the middle, and the adverts are always dead loud. Yeah. I've got narcolepsy, so I don't feel sleep deprived in the day. I just switch off and go. I can fall asleep in the middle of a sentence. I can be talking to people, fall asleep. That's one reason why I stopped driving. I used to have to pull over at the side of the road because I knew I was going. I could feel myself go, and I thought I can't stop myself going, so I had to pull over to the side of the road, and I'd only sleep for about. If I have this what I call a narcolepsy episode, I sleep for about 10 minutes. That's all I do. And then I wake up and I'm fine. But I can't fight it. I've fallen asleep in the hospital. I've fallen asleep everywhere. Yeah, I don't like sleeping pills. I don't want to be chemically put to sleep. They did put me on amitriptyline for my back to relax the muscles in my back for the pain. And I couldn't take them because it gave me horrific nightmares. It worked for the pain. It worked wonders on the pain. But I can't take them because of the side effects. I mean, it's like really awful, violent dreams I get on amitriptyline. And I told the doctor, I said, don't give them to me. I said, I can't take them. I'd wake up with palpitations because the dreams would be so horrible and so real that when I woke up, I was still in them, and I couldn't come out of them, if you know what I mean. It was awful. I said, I can't take amitriptyline, don't give it me. And yet they work. Like I said, they work wonderful for the, my back spasms and pain. But you can't have one thing without the other, can you? What, an amitriptyline? Did you have that, Nathan? Mm. My CPAP, yeah. My CPAP doesn't help me to sleep. It just stops me from dying when I'm sleeping. When you stop breathing, it forces air into you, opens up your airways. So it stops you from dying, basically. Before I had a CPAP machine, I used to have sleep paralysis. I would wake up and I couldn't breathe, and I couldn't start breathing. And I used to lie there thinking, I'm going to die. This is how you die. You die because you can't suck. And eventually I'd go, and I'd suck some breath in. But it's awful. Sleep paralysis is awful. I can't sleep without my mask. When I last did my last sleep study, I had to do it without the mask. And they put your thing on your finger and you have electrodes on you and everything like that. And I stopped breathing 140 times during the night. And yet, funnily enough, I thought I'd have. No, I had to buy one. They don't have the mask that I can wear. I had to pay 140 something pound for it off Amazon because Blackpool Hospital doesn't stock the only mask that I can wear. So I had to buy my own. They keep trying to give me this mask, that mask, the other mask. I said, you're just wasting your money because they leak and I can't wear them. And they said, well, we don't have ResMed. We don't have a contract with ResMed. And I said, well, that ResMed is the only mask that I can wear. It's the only one that fits properly and stays fitted. And they keep saying, no, they're very much like ResMed. I said, they're no good. If they leak, they are no good. And I can't wear them. Well, they've given me umpteen masks and I've had to just leave them. And you can't give them back because they won't re-sterilise them. So it's like a waste of money. So I said to them last time, don't give me any more masks. I said, I can't. You're just wasting money. You're wasting NHS money giving me a different mask because unless you can give me a ResMed. So I had to pay £140, I think it was, to buy one on Amazon. So I'm just hoping nothing goes wrong with this and I have to buy another one. They gave me, when I was going through my problems with my ex before I got divorced, they gave me something. And I nearly walked in front of a bus. I was high as a kite. They were supposed to be antidepressants of some description. And then they got run over. Yeah, that's how much they are, Yolanda. But yeah, the NHS will give me a different mask every time I go that I can't use. So in my mind, they're just wasting NHS money. But yeah, for some reason or other, they can't order me a ResMed. Yeah, the other hospital I was under had a choice of different ones, not just one brand, you know. They dealt with several different brands. But the Blackpool Teaching Hospital only has one particular brand. Apparently, they have a contract with them. And that one particular brand I can't use. Stupid, isn't it? But I won't waste NHS money. Well, my injections cost £140 a month if I was to buy them privately. It's 11 minutes past midnight where I am now at the moment. I watched a woman they make me mad, woman on YouTube. I'm taking this Ozempic. It's costing me £140 a month for the private prescription, but it's worth it to me because I save it on the food I would have eaten. And I'm like, eh? And then she goes on to say it makes her nauseous all the time and she has stomach cramps. But it's worth it because she's lost 12 pounds. And I'm thinking, no, it's not worth it. You know, I don't take it for that. And they don't know what the long-term effects are. And also, when you stop taking Ozempic, all your weight comes back on again. So to me, what is the point? Yeah. Yeah, she lost £12 the first month, and then after that, she lost £2 a week. And I'm like, you're paying £140 a month to lose £2 a week. You could lose that on Weight Watcher without the side effects. On the withdrawal. Yeah, but they're promoting it to these people who don't need it. You know, people who may be a stone overweight, or that's about 14 pounds overweight. You know, they don't need it. They're not severely obese. They're not diabetic. And this woman was saying, Dieting doesn't work for me. I'm sorry, but if you do it properly, dieting does work. I don't diet, but that's my decision. But if I do diet, then dieting does work for me. It's not easy. It's very hard to diet. I'm not saying it is easy. It's not. But there's nobody who could say, I can't diet. I don't want to. I don't diet, but that's my choice. I don't want to. I don't take Ozempic for weight loss. I take it to regulate my sugars. Yeah, I lost 4 stone, which is 4 times 14 pounds, long before I was ever on Ozempic. I just watched what I ate. It took me a couple of years to lose 4 stone, but I did it naturally and I did it without any chemical aids at all. And people say to me, oh, well, you're on the injections, you've lost all that weight. I went, no, I lost it all before. I've not lost any weight since. It regulates my weight, yeah. I don't put it on. Yeah, COVID. COVID, oh God, yeah, when I had COVID, I lost weight, yeah. But it was all, it wasn't done with any drugs or anything. So I don't want people thinking, oh, Janet took the injections and she lost all that weight. She didn't, yeah. UK Medic is now live. If you remember, Robbie used to come on. He used to come on our lives occasionally. Right, well, I'm going to try to go to bed, and for some reason or other, my phone didn't charge up last night. UK Medic. He used to come on here. Rob, I think he was called. It's usually Jill who's live after me, but I think maybe she's packing or wrapping presents. Maybe she's not doing her live tonight. Right, bye everybody. Sorry about the funny start. But it's one of them things, isn't it? I suppose we ought to be grateful I didn't get cut off again. Still, bye for now. If anybody sees Lydia, tell her she missed it altogether. I was pulling her leg the other day saying, I bet you miss it. Thank you, Chris. You always say something nice to me, don't you? Okay, bye for now. I'm going to try and get some sleep. Bye, all. Bye now. Bye, Mimi. Bye, Yolanda. Bye, Lisa. Liza. Bye, Enid. Whoever's left on here. Bye.